So the Donald Trump clown show continues.
So what's going on today?
Well, unfortunately, Trump's making a big decision. Are we going to attack Iran or not? That's essentially what we're talking about. I know. And this is where we are. It was kind of weird because Trump promised everyone he wasn't going to start any new wars.
And he said he's not going to involve anything.
Yeah, or he's made promises like, hey, vote for me and I'll end the war with Ukraine and Russia in one day. And like, I'll just, that's where we are. What's that?
Yeah, a bunch of lies every day.
Basically, and while he's making this really big decision, he's basically got a bunch of people around him to just tell him how awesome he is. So for example, a true story, he was tweeting out that 95% of people like him, and I was like, wait, what?
95% of his family?
Yeah, right. It could be maybe 5% of the family doesn't like him. And then you go over to the Republican page, and they're tweeting out the same kind of stuff. And then you have to dig into it. So what they're doing, they're saying, 95% of Republicans like him, right? Which isn't even necessarily accurate. Yeah, I mean, so let alone 95% of anything, right? And then you dig into some more, and what they did was there's this guy, and he's bragging about how he got all this money from the Republicans. He's moving to Washington, D.C., and now he's got this new company to do polls, right?
Poll?
You call up people, text people, seriously. It was like 70% text and 30% call up people.
Who is he or she?
It's like some uneducated dude that's got this new company, and he took a bunch of money from Republicans. He literally says, like, I got a bunch of money from Republicans, and he was like bragging about it, and moves to DC and has this poll. Half the people like Trump. That's in his poll. So at least he's honest about his dishonest poll.
Just make a just some stupid number. Just you don't have to poll. Just write down the fake number.
Right. So that's the problem that we're at. Is Trump's in that world where people are just feeding him.
Yeah, lies.
Okay, so this is where you got to be careful. So it's a lie in the sense that it's a completely misrepresenting what it is. So it is true if I ask the 1,000 people that like Trump, do you like Trump? I'm pretty sure 95% of the 1,000 people that like Trump are going to say they like Trump. Like that's the world that he's in. Or for example, Huckabee. So you wouldn't know who this is. I think he was a governor. Then he actually had a TV show on Fox, and then now he's like an ambassador under Trump.
Oh.
And so he sent this email to Trump. The White House prints it out, and here's the basic email: was Trump, this is the most important decision in your life, and you need to listen to God. He used the word his voice, but it's God.
Yeah.
And so like how do we even have these conversations with anyone about this stuff when, frankly, the Trump people is just this. Like how do you describe it? I'm trying to be polite because
just like cult, basically.
Yeah, basically
that's
what it is. And then the other problem is, he gets his information too from TV. He watches Fox News nonstop. So this
he cannot read.
Yeah, well, actually,
even if they to bring him a bunch of report. Nah, I don't need it. Just watch Fox News.
Yeah, so that was actually true story. That was actually in so we have our intelligence agencies, and they actually have this book to brief all the new people about understanding the history of USA, etc. And when you get to the chapter on Trump, one of the big ones is he doesn't read. So our own intel on Trump is that he doesn't read.
Yeah.
And then there were other reports out there because you get leaks from the White House of like, okay, Trump doesn't read. How do we get him to concentrate? Like how do we do we do PowerPoint?
Yeah.
I don't know. See. Do we do wooden blocks at this point?
Is there even solution?
That's where we're at. I don't know. I mean, it was funny because when you mentioned, I was thinking like, do you guys know how you have a baby and you want to take a picture of the baby? How do you get the baby to look at the camera? So is Trump at baby level, or is he at like cat or dog level? Because like if you have a dog, you want the dog to look at the camera. How do you do that?
Yeah, even there is it's the how you say plan das dog, like bell the
like a special bell for the dog. Yeah, because do you guys ever do this? If you have a family, like this thing about family, this is what we're dealing with.
But you know what? Even cat and dog, I'm not sure the cat, but dog, you can train it. Sit. No food. You sit. Okay, good job. Very sure.
So for Trump, if you treat Trump like a dog, it'd be like, oh, you listened to the briefing today. Good job, Mr. President. Here's your KFC for the day. I mean, Will KFC be enough power to convince Trump to pay attention?
No, you gotta give him gold. He's all about gold.
This is why it's so frustrating to talk about this stuff, guys. It's literally trying to take a family photo with chaotic stuff, and then when he doesn't, I guess behave properly, then people just applaud him anyway. So here's an example, guys. We're in the middle of his more important decision of his presidency so far. Should we attack Iran or not? To me, the answer is simple: don't attack. Just I don't want to get involved in war, right? The simple answer. But what's he up to these days? He's like, more flagpoles. No, seriously. That's what he's tweeting out today. What? He wants more flagpoles.
For what?
For his TV show.
What?
Because he's like inviting the press. I'll read a little bit here. This is what it says. The digging and placement of the poles will begin at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. Flags will be raised at approximately 11 a.m. These are the most magnificent poles made. They are tall, tapered, rust-proof, rope inside the pole, and of the highest quality.
What kind of president, planning about pole?
I don't know.
And who's so important that he has to tweet about it.
Right, flagpoles. But it's a big distraction, so we're not talking about the economy and stuff like that. So I just made a video about this, and I need to talk to you about with it again. Remember they called this thing the One Big Beautiful Bill?
Always.
Yeah. What?
Always beautiful.
It's always big, right?
Always.
So they have a self-imposed deadline as Republicans. They're trying to get this thing in by July 4th, so like a month or so from now. And there's all these things they're throwing in there, but like most of the stuff in there basically hurts the regular American. And the trick's gonna be, can the billionaires like Elon Musk convince all these people to like, hey, we should help Elon Musk because Elon Musk is going to save the country, and you don't need education or healthcare. Like,
you just need more car and robots.
Right, more cars and robots. And so then that is actually deeply unpopular because if you ask people, would you rather have healthcare or help Elon Musk?
But they're not gonna say help Elon Musk. They're gonna change the word slightly. Manipulate people.
That's what they always do. So the way that they would do it is so to be like Fox News or polls to be like, do you want to innovate? Do you want to have future technology?
Yeah.
Or do you want to have healthcare?
You want to live in the future?
Yeah.
Just stay.
So it depends how you state questions, the kind of polling data, and then you'll present that data to Trump, and then he'll present it to you guys. It's all a sham. And so like these are the kind of things that is going on right now that will probably rupture agreement because even if the Republicans are like all on the same team, they still have to agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and somewhat. And the big one that's hurting them right now, in the bill, it will cut funding to hospitals in small cities. That's big, right? Because even if the Republicans are, what?
Even now, you guys, the healthcare system even not good right now, but it'll be worse.
Yeah, a lot worse. And so there was actually some really interesting statistics about this. Basically, there was a quote, they were talking about healthcare, and I'll give you guys a couple numbers here. So one would be, if they were to do this, it's called Medicaid, but perhaps 7.6 million Americans would lose their health insurance. So that's quite a lot, 7 to 8 million people.
They just want to kill people.
And sadly, that's where we're at. And then here's the other thing that was interesting is that we're talking about people who live in small cities. So like say if you're a Republican, chances are you're about 10.5 miles on average from a hospital. So like 17, maybe 20 minutes from a hospital, right? So that's the kind of hospitals that we're talking about. And because you're in a small city and you're in a poor area, those kind of hospitals just don't have much money. Right? Do you guys see this?
Plus those kind of hospitals, not even a big hospital.
No,
right?
it's like
small hospital.
24 beds, like not very big. So these kind of hospitals are actually really dependent on government money for help. And this also goes back to, remember, California was threatening to like basically not pay taxes, or better way to say it is not send the taxes to help out because the way our country is structured, the blue states, like in California, like in New York, pay way more taxes than the red states. Essentially, they have a lot of small cities. They don't have big companies there. They just don't have as much money. That's just how it is. And so, like, if you believe that we're all in this together, right, we should figure out ways to help people. But I'm just telling you guys, the Republicans want to basically their plan is to help Elon Musk and then screw the poor people. And the Republicans that care about at least hospitals in their cities, they're gonna say something, and there's probably gonna be enough of them where it's gonna sink the bill. So that's just one example. So here's another example of something they want to do is I'll show it to you. The headline is Big Tech pushes for 10-year ban on U.S. states regulating AI. Right. So basically is all these companies. So it's like your Microsoft, your Amazon, your Google, etc. They want to just have all this stuff AI get passed as quickly as possible, and they don't want any government regulation. So why am I bringing this stuff up? Because I'm saying there's a bunch of stuff in this thing. Okay. And there's fights over this too, because what kind of things are we concerned with AI? So is AI just basically going to steal your data, right? Should we regulate that? Is AI going to sort of, how can I say, take all of your social media posts? Like, for example, let's say you post your photo on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Do you just want AI to use your photo and then put you in advertisements promoting products? Like do you have control over your own image? Like, these are actual, things that people should be concerned about. And all of these kind of things are complicated together. You have, the war, you have the economy, you have this new technology coming that may or may not be beneficial to regular people, cutting your healthcare. And the biggest problem that I have is the Republicans don't really plan so well for the future. That's the biggest problem.
They don't think about side effect.
Yeah. So the example I was talking about the AG before was like, hey, if I said I want to buy a car because it's got this like new color just came out and it's got these like really cool tires and it drives really fast. And what would be the first question you ask?
How much money you have?
Yeah, well, okay, that would be one, and the other one would be,
well, how much the cost?
Yeah, right. Isn't this like pretty basic
and even
conversations?
If, you have a money. Do you have a charge?
Yeah, do we have a place to charge the car?
Yeah.
Right. So these like very basic questions, the Republicans just kind of skip over. So they're kind of like, and this goes back to Trump, they're kind of like that teenage boy that's like, but mom, the car's like new and all the other kids have this cool car. I want the cool car too. So let me give you an example, and this is actually really sad. So remember, Trump won the parade because Kim Jong-un wanted the parade, or has a parade, and she has a parade, and Putin has a parade. I want a parade too, right? Military parade. Someone died.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who?
So when they were like big trucks were moving the tanks, one of the big trucks hit a person. I just saw that this morning. And
it's not on news, right?
It's a small news because there's so much. The big news right now is with the war, yeah. But and there may be more. There could be more deaths, unfortunately. I just saw the one this morning, and that's an example of like you're just not planning. Seriously, just throwing a parade is planning. You got how to get things in safely, how to get things safely out, because you're moving large equipment for different reasons, right? And then the example would be like the war situation. So right now our decision is, okay, are we going to blow up Iran or not? That's basically what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But what about after? Like, no, seriously, it's a real question. Like, okay, so like how much does it cost if we're going to blow up Iran? If you blow up just blow up a bunch of buildings. Like right now they don't have internet so good. I just saw that later.
Yeah. And
what's that?
And if he decides, it's blood on his hand.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
So the reason why I bring up the plan stuff is
and
like
his plan is they build a Trump hotel with USA your tax.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're talking about, because there's a lot of money in reconstruction of countries, and then let's just play this out. Let's say, okay, I'm going to build Trump hotels or whatever. Do you think all the people in Iran are just going to forgive Trump and say, oh, okay, I'm so happy we have this Trump hotel and casino, I'm going to go there all day and give you all my money? No, of course not, right? There's going to be lots of violence at the hotel, protests at the hotel, right? There's no plan in place, and it's deeply immoral and unethical to just attack with no plan, right? Like this is where we're at, and basically what's going on is what's his name, Netanyahu and Trump, their polls are really down. So when in doubt, you just start a war to get people not talking about, say, big tech wants to ban regulation of AI, or don't talk about your hospitals in small cities.
And ICE.
Yeah, or don't talk about the ICE situation where I just told you guys in a prior video, Noam, who's the head of this thing, she's in the hospital now. And they're claiming allergy.
Yeah, like Botox allergy, filler allergy, or you put the facelifting and that's the allergy.
That's what people are saying. Some people are saying it's just, you know, who knows what the issue is. Are we talking about overdose kind of stuff? Too much, you know, needles, whatever.
Sometimes, you know, she's getting old, so you know, sometimes, you know, girls, you know, woman, you know, they do like lifting, and you have to roll off your face over a week, something like that.
You never know, because I'll just say this: I don't believe that the story from the White House that suddenly she had to go to the hospital because some sort of allergy and like you can't talk to her, because she was actually due to.
Oh yeah, you can talk to her because she's in the roll of her face right now. she can move her mouth.
So that was literally the first thing that everyone in the comment was saying, that they don't believe it either, and it's got to be something with Botox or whatever. So I don't know the full story. We'll find out what it ends up being. But that's who this stuff is, and you know, as I just keep thinking at, you know, this is a big clown car, and sadly with guns. You know,
and that's USA president.
That is clown car with guns. So I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. I do appreciate your time, and we'll catch you on the next video. So see ya.